Hi there, this is Keto King Kong. This is my first video, hopefully one of many. I've been in the keto game for about 3 years now. I've seen some really good results. I lost 20 pounds in my first week, but we all kind of know that the first week or two is only water weight, but it doesn't really change how you feel when you see those numbers go down. So water weight or not, it's still pretty exciting, and the longer you stay on it, the more results you see. I've recently noticed that there's a lack of keto instant pot videos or pressure cooker recipes on YouTube, so I've decided to make some videos to hopefully share some of my favorites and help other people out. So on to my list of 4 of my favorite Instapot recipes. First up, disclaimer, these aren't actually my own recipes. These are recipes that I found that I decided to sort of share with everybody. I do modify the recipes to be more Instapot friendly or leave out ingredients I feel like don't add a lot to the recipe. However, everybody is of course welcome to make the recipe their own, and I will link all of the original recipes in the descriptions. So my first favorite recipe is the Zuppa Toscano. This is a low-carb keto version. This is one of Olive Garden's more popular soups, but this original one is actually a stovetop recipe, but I modified it a bit so that it'll work in Instapot. So the ingredients that you're going to need for this is 1 medium onion, 1 pound of sugar-free bacon. I usually find this at Costco or actual real grocery store. Walmart doesn't seem to have any. You're going to need 1 pound of Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. I like to use the hot sausage, it gives it a little bit more flavor. Then 2 quarts of chicken broth, 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. I like to use the pre-minced garlic. And 2 to 3 cups of kale. This really depends on how much you like kale. If you like kale a lot, you can use 4 cups. And it also is going to depend on how big your Instapot is. And then you're going to need 1 bag of frozen cauliflower. I like to use the frozen cauliflower because it's in the Instapot, it tends to disintegrate and work as a soup thickener. So I tend to like to add this to a lot of my recipes, just so that it makes the soup thicker without having to use anything that is starchy. And then you're going to need 1.5 cups of heavy cream. This is going to give it its buttery flavor. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to slice up your onion and slice up your bacon, and then turn the Instapot on saute. Then throw in the Jimmy Dean sausage, and then once everything is brown, you're going to want to turn off the saute mode and then add all your ingredients in. And then turn your pressure cooker on stew. Once your pressure cooker is done, your recipe is finished. Because this is an Instapot recipe, it's actually a very fast dish to make. The longest part is going to be waiting, but this will make a huge batch of food and it's going to be delicious. This says that it'll serve 8, but some of the modifications that I made to this recipe, it'll probably serve more. Okay, next we have chicken shawarma. It's not originally made for Instapot. This is a crock pot recipe that I've modified a little bit. Okay, so what you're gonna need is 2 pounds of chicken breast, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which you can always add more salt if you need to, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of water. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut up your chicken breast raw, then set your Instapot on saute, and add the olive oil and cook the chicken until it's done. Then you're going to want to add all your spices, mix it up real good. Then you're going to add your water. The water is in there just to help the steam build up in a pressure cooker. Most pressure cookers take about half a cup to fill up, so that's what I put in the recipe. If you know your pressure cooker to take less than that, then by all means add less. And then you set it on stew, and then once that is done, your meal is complete. This one supposedly serves 6 people, but I'm not really sure that it will. Next, we have pot roast. And this is also another crock pot recipe that I have modified to work on the Instapot. I know the picture shows potato and carrots, but being as this is a keto recipe, we are not going to use potato and carrots. What we're going to need first is 1.5 to 2 pounds of stewed beef, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 2 sticks of celery, sliced or not sliced. I like to use the celery whole so that I can take them out later because I don't like to eat cooked celery. Then we're going to need 1 medium onion sliced, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, half a teaspoon of dill, half a teaspoon of thyme, 1 bag of frozen cauliflower, and 1 cup of beef broth. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the olive oil in your crock pot. So what you're going to want to do is put your pressure cooker on saute, put your olive oil in there, and then start to saute your beef and throw the salt and pepper in there and stir. You're going to want to saute this on the outside until it's brown, but you don't want to cook it all the way through. So once your beef is browned on the outside, you're going to want to add the rest of your ingredients, close up your Instapot, and set it on stew. And once the stew mode is complete, that is it. It is ready to go. This goes really good with cauliflower mash. Just a little tip, if you guys sort of miss mashed potatoes, just add a little bit of cauliflower mash with it and it goes really well. And last but not least, we have a coconut chicken curry. For the coconut chicken curry, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 medium onion sliced, 1 pound of chicken breast, 1 can of 14-ounce diced tomatoes, half a can of coconut milk, half a cup of chicken broth, 4 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1.5 tablespoons of curry powder, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. So to start this one off, we're going to put our olive oil into the Instapot, turn it on saute. We're going to want to saute the onions and the chicken breast. I would recommend dicing the chicken breast first and then throwing it in the pot. Saute those up, and once the chicken breast is cooked, put everything else in the Instapot, shut the lid, put it on stew, and let it cook. And that is going to be it for your meal. All of these recipes are really simple. There's a lot of ingredients, but because we are using the Instapot, we can essentially just dump all the ingredients in together and just hit go. So that's all I have for you now. Thanks for listening, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hopefully the more I do this, the better I get, and the video qualities do get better.